Hey, this is the Review Junkie, and today I'll be reviewing the new fairy tale Snow White. As always, my review will be illustrated and the artwork is done by myself. And if you like movies, art, and comic books, please hit that subscribe button because all my reviews are hand drawn. I love to draw and talk about movies, and I thought what a great way to create a unique channel doing both. So help make my dreams come true so I can do this full time. Like, subscribe, and feel free to share this with your friends so my channel can become official someday. So this movie stars Rachel Zegler, Gal Gadot, and Andrew Burnap. It is directed by Mark Webb. This is a non-spoiler review, so everything I discuss will have been shown in the trailer. Absolutely no spoilers. I'll tell you briefly about the plot, the characters, my pros and cons, final thoughts, and if this is worth checking out at your local movie theater. So the plot involves a happy kingdom that used to be bubbling with sunshine, rainbows, glitter, sparkles, and happiness till one day it isn't so happy anymore after it's taken over by the evil queen. Unbeknownst to the kingdom, Snow White has been exiled to be a slave in the castle. She cleans, mops, dusts, sings, Windexes, mops, and then sings some more. And one day she becomes aware of the queen's true intentions and flees to the magical forest where she encounters seven dwarfs, a rebel played by Andrew Burnap, and the rest is how she goes about freeing her kingdom from the evil queen. So, I have no issue with the choices and the changes made. At the end of the day, can the final product entertain audiences, right? Now, there are horrible films that should be banished in cinema, but this isn't one of them. And I'm going to keep it real with you because that's what I do on this channel. I keeps it real. This is a hot mess. Okay. Just messy, yet strangely intriguing. Now, I'm not Boo Boo the Fool, but I saw this because I wanted to and I wanted to review it, and movies are my happy space. So, I like the beginning because you get details about our origin. It started off rather strong. I've only seen bits and pieces of the original, and personally, I like the Disney Renaissance of the 1990s because I was a kid and I was eating all of that up. So I can't speak to the original music, but the new music here is perfectly fine. It's from the Greatest Showman music team, and one song actually sounded like a rehash of This Is Me. Performance-wise, Andrew, who plays Jonathan, stood out. He brings a level of sophistication and had a strong screen presence whenever he was on, but he's not in it as much as I thought. The second best performance here actually comes from someone who isn't even real, and that's Dopey. All of his facial expressions delivered. He said everything without actually saying it. There's also a tender moment between him and Snow White, and it was one of the best scenes for me. And the CGI dwarfs actually weren't that bad. There's also interesting themes here about women hating women, vanity, and so on, but those don't get explored, and I wouldn't expect it to in a kid's film. So let me get to the problems because there are some, and that's the runtime. This felt very long and tedious. Next is the tone. Now, when movie critics talk about tonal shifts, I'm usually not in agreement. Like in Venom, critics said the tone was off. Well, it would be since he becomes Venom in Act 2, so the vibe is going to change. But here, the tone really is all over the place. I don't know if it was meant to be silly, serious, campy, funny, or even a spoof at times. Depending on what actor is on screen, you get a different tone. Now, for a movie with this price tag, it looks cheap with a capital C. It felt very small, and you can tell it's a soundstage. It felt very amateurish, and even the extras. This is a perfect example of how putting actors in 19th century clothing isn't enough. The costume design is terrible. Very Halloween, Party City, cosplay, Comic-Con, and it makes one ponder, where did the money go? There's also an important box here, right? Like, tell me why it looks like a cheap plastic jewelry box that you buy for $9.99. Why isn't it old-time wood? Where's the imagination? Transport me somewhere magical. It looked like an overpriced popcorn box that you get at the movie theater like this one. Now, my last two cons are the two female leads. Rachel's a good singer and her acting has gotten better, but she struggled from Act 2 onward. She's very self-aware and just can't let go. I could tell she's constantly thinking and posing, and it gets captured on film. She kept holding on to her pretty and couldn't roll up her sleeves, get ugly, and perform. She just never came off like the girl next door, and you have to if you're going to be Snow White. but she's the girl way, way down the block, like by the train tracks. It's like casting J-Lo, and no matter what, you could tell she's street smart and from the boogie down Bronx. Like I've been around the block. Okay, okay. Rachel never came off genuine, and her hair is a disaster. A direct copy and paste from the cartoon doesn't translate here. Like, come on, just give her a high end, fashion forward bob or pixie cut. Okay, okay. Lastly is Gal Gadot. She's not terrible and isn't a bad singer. Her clothes look amazing for the most part. She looks like the part standing still. And I think because she's so memorable as Wonder Woman, that it was hard to see her as a villain. And at times her performance was a bit too animated and over the top, and it just didn't translate well on screen. So this brings me to my final thoughts, and this gets a 5 out of 10 from me. We'll never really know what happened backstage. This was disjointed and it didn't know what it wanted to be. It's schizophrenic and is giving so many different layers that it can't even excel at just being one good layer. I think very young kids will enjoy it, and I just think it's time for Disney to do new fairy tales. Like, where's Rumpelstiltskin? I want to see that in 2D hand-drawn animation, right? So this is a hard pass because the fantasy level isn't there. Otherwise, I would suggest waiting if you can hold out. So thanks again for checking out my review. If you like, please subscribe, helps the channel out a lot. Hit that thumbs up button. Feel free to share this with your friends. And if you happen to have a movie you'd like me to review, please let me know. I'd be happy to watch and illustrate it for a future video. Thanks again, and I hope the pictures put a smile on your face.